What's up guys, in this video I'm going to walk you guys through the settings for the XIM Assist console/PSC Marvel Rivals configuration. These are my personal settings and this is what I kind of found out to be the best balance between aim assist and consistency in your shots as well as mouse feel. So let's just go over it and try to follow along while you're setting up the config. We're going to go over to the settings, and right here in the settings we're going to go over to the controller tab. We're going to set the cursor sensitivity to 200. I will explain in a different video why we do this, but for now this is just very important. And if you are playing on a PS5 controller, make sure the trigger effect function is disabled. And you can disable the vibration mode, but that's not really like a necessity. Over to combat, this one is very important. We're not really going to touch any of the settings down here. We're all going to keep those the same, but we're going to go and put the horizontal and vertical sensitivity at 500. This is for our speed and kind of like that, you know, a fast feel. Then over in the advanced settings, we're going to be using the exponential curve. And if you click the little plus icon, you can see that there's a different option opening that says adjust curve. This should say by default it being set to 10, 11 or maybe up to 15. If you have changed this, then change this to 9. After you've done that, you can click the minus icon again, and we're going to go over to the minimum input dead zone. We're going to put this to 0. The reason we want this is we kind of want the orbital aim assist, where it tracks left to right, to be active. So we put this to 0, and whenever we get further into the game, this is going to make more sense in terms of your mouse flow and stuff. For your maximum input dead zone, we're going to input 30. Again, here you can go with 0, but I found out that 30 kind of gives me the best kind of feel between when the aim assist is on and when the aim assist is not on, and kind of like not having the problem that I'm tracking behind or maybe tracking a little bit too much in front of the player. So put it to 30. Your max dead zone sensitivity can be 0, just like your horizontal max dead zone response time. What these essentially just do is boosting your sensitivity up, but with this config it's really not necessary. When we go down, and this is a very important one, we see a couple different types of things. We see that I've set the aim assist window for all heroes to 35. Now, depending on whatever you like the most, you can set this to 35, to 40, to 50, but don't go past 50. I used to play for a long time on about 0, but I noticed with Punisher, which is the character that I play a lot, that having the aim assist window at about 35, 30, maybe up to 40 is very nice for the consistency of shots while tracking and these kind of things. We put the aim assist strength to 100. And then the same thing for the aim assist ease in for both projectile, hit scan and melee heroes. We put them all to 100. Again, these are very important for that great mouse feel. One thing that I would like to show you guys is if we go and change the hero to Hawkeye or any projectile heroes, we have a little slight change here. In this case, you want to put the aim assist window size to 100. I've noticed again that with a projectile-based hero, this is kind of the nicest way to play with them. And then to explain you guys, the aim assist window, essentially what it does, it's the size at which the aim assist starts to kick in. The bigger this window, the sooner it already starts to rotate with the character, starts moving, or in general starts to kick in. The lower you set this, the less likely it will be to kick in. But when you have a projector hero, kinda you want to lead already in front of them, so having this at 100 is really nice. Okay, so that's pretty much it for your controller settings. What I would like to do now is walk you guys through a little bit of these settings inside the game and how they function for me, to show you guys kind of what I like and how that goes. So I'm going to shoot a couple dummies at the part of the practice range. You can do so as well. And give it a try. And if it does feel too fast or it feels too slow, then you can walk over to the XIM. And inside the XIM, you can go over to your hip or your ADS, but in the main part, you're going to use your hip. The hip sensitivity by default should be set to around 40 or 30, somewhere in between. And it's very important for you to know if you lower the sensitivity, so the CM per 360 is going to be faster. If you increase the sensitivity, it's going to be slower. But what is very important, we're not going to be achieving the perfect 180 or 360 flicks. So if you're playing with a XIM and you really want to become good and really feel the aim assist, you have to learn a couple things. First of all, Don't try to use your arm. Don't try to flick. Don't try to do 180s or 360s. Keep your mouse at the exact same position. I'm going to show you guys that right now in the game. If you go in here in the game, you can see that my aim is doing small rotations. This is what we need to get the aim to track. And you can see that the moment that the character moves past, the character will follow. I'm going to move away for a second and just show you guys a little bit of the aim right over here. A lot of players, they will try to flick. This is me using my arm trying to do motions, and you can see it's fast, but it's also kind of slow. Probably something you got to feel, and you will feel for yourself. The moment I start bending my wrist, this is just a bend on my wrist, you can see that I'm able to do faster motions. This is literally just me holding my hand at the exact same space, and I'm only bending my hand to the left, my wrist. I can do that to the right as well. That's kind of how you want to play. So up is going to be, like in this case, you're moving your hands up and down, but you try to, like whenever you go down, you try to end back in the place where the mouse started, the center of the mouse. Going down and up, same thing. You got a really natural feel, and whenever you get your thing down, you can do these kind of things. So you can do really quick flicks. Doing so allows you to really easily track people. You can acquire a target, then flick over to a different target. And that's really going to be based on, you know, your motion and ability to flick. But the moment I'm trying to use my arm with this, so I'm going to try to use my arm, I'm going to be very much inconsistent with my shots because I'm trying to use my arm for tracking. Well, in this case, all you want to do is use your wrist for your tracking, and you will see that it then becomes a lot easier to track your targets and consistently hit your shots. With this config, it's very important. You've got an aim assist active whenever you start firing. So whenever you start firing like this and you stand still, you will have boosted aim assist. But then on top of that, whenever you move, so you do A and D, so these are quick A and D strafes, you will have aim assist. If I stand still and I hold A and D at the exact same time, we will basically have that active as well. So right now I can just really easily track the enemy targets. I can go here and just consistently track the dummies going left and right, or these bots. And that is just by holding A and D. So that's my movement button. So while moving, while playing your characters, moving is going to be very important to keep your aim assist locked on. So that's just to show a little bit of the aim assist. Same thing, if you're on PC, you can play with the same settings I just explained inside the settings, because these settings will apply to the PC as well. Just know that on the PC the aim assist is much weaker than on the console. I think this is pretty much to counter down players like us that are using a XIM or Cronus or any type of input device that emulates input and lets us think that we're an aim assist. So that's really important to know. In a different video, I will show you guys the XIM and the XIM in action and all the binds and how to customize them. But pretty much the important factor here is that we got the config going. Now, if you don't want any of the shaking, then just watch the different video. They will all be listed in the XIM post. It will probably be under the customization section, or it might be called the XIM matrix section. I'm not certain about that, but keep an eye out for those ones. But you can see I'm pretty consistent. I can really easily hit my shots and just consistently be locked on. So yeah, you got a very, very strong config there. So again, just to kind of, you know, break it down, summarize it. We gotten through the settings, and then whenever you're aiming, don't try to use your arm and try to do flicks, only you bend your wrist. So put your wrist or your mouse in the center of your screen and bend it to the left. You bend it to the left even if you do that fast. If you do it fast, it will slow. So you can see a fast turn will turn to about here. A slow turn will do a full 90-degree angle. So slow turn. And the slower you do this, the faster you can turn. So whenever you want to do a 180, it's just going to be this, and you lift up the mouse. So all I'm doing here is I will bend the wrist, I lift up the mouse and center it back to the middle and bend it again. That's kind of how we want to play. Same with the right. If I try to do it fast with my arm, it will go to about here. If I flick fast, it will go to about here. And if I do a slow motion, or a normal flick, I will do about 90 degrees, and if I do a slower motion, it will be about 135 degrees. So that's just good to keep in mind of how to play. I really want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it helps you with setting up your configuration and your settings.